What better way than starting off the new year with a full playthrough of my favorite game of all time. Today, we're starting up with the Wings of Liberty campaign of StarCraft 2. And of course, we're gonna complete the campaign on the brutal difficulty. Now, in case you're new to the channel, I recently completed a full playthrough of Warcraft 3 as well as StarCraft Remastered. In case you're interested in that, I will leave a link to the playlist down below in the description of this video so you can go ahead and check those out as well. I'm not gonna lie, I actually really enjoyed the story of StarCraft 1, and the very first time that I played StarCraft 2, I didn't understand the story whatsoever. As a matter of fact, the very first time that I played the Wings of Liberty campaign was back in 2010 when the game first came out. I played on the easiest difficulty, I skipped all of the cutscenes, and I didn't even really know what was going on. In retrospect, I guess the reason why I wanted to do that was just so I could go ahead and say that I had already completed the campaign, even though that doesn't really achieve anything. It's a little bit silly. But of course, that does mean that today I'm going to be jumping into the campaign with full knowledge of exactly what the story is like. Now, the way that I'm going to structure these videos is so you can go ahead and watch them individually as well. I'm purposefully not going to label them as like episode 1 or like episode 16, just so I can go ahead and explain the storyline at the beginning of every single episode. So if you end up missing a video, doesn't matter, just jump into the next one and you'll be able to, you know, hopefully enjoy it right from the get-go once again. As I'm gonna go ahead and try and recap the story up to that point, or at the very least the last couple of episodes, so you don't have to worry about what you've missed. But anyways, without further ado, I have selected the brutal difficulty, which apparently you should only select if you are an expert at StarCraft. Now, of course, I do still play StarCraft 2 pretty much every single day, and I have been doing so over like the last 7 to 8 years. It's been a little bit of time already, so I think it is time to jump into it.
They say a man never really knows himself. Until his freedom's been taken away. I wonder, how well do you know yourself?
Prisoner, step forward onto the platform.
Convict 626. Murderer. Pirate. Traitor. Today, you go free. But, as you'll soon learn, even freedom has a price.
Combat suit sealed and locked.
You'll carry your prison with you. That armor will be your new cell. Make no mistake. War is coming. with all its glory and all its horror. Mr. Findley, your freedom awaits.
Hell, it's about time.
That still gives me goosebumps. It's been a long time since I've first seen that, but it still gives me goosebumps. I guess now we all know what happens inside of a barracks, or at the very least that's what I assumed that was.
And in other news today, Emperor Arcturus Mengsk held a press conference commemorating the end of the so-called Brood War some 4 years ago. Our own Kate Lockwell was on the scene.
Emperor, the threat of a new Zerg invasion is still very real. But instead of expanding our fleets, you've squandered trillions on hunting down has-been rebels like Jim Raynor.
Jim Raynor represents a clear and present threat to this Dominion. He is an unscrupulous, lawless revolutionary bent on spreading fear and dissension across
I quite like Jim.
the sector.
To be honest, I quite like him.
His ragtag band of miscreants have instigated open rebellion across 6 separate worlds and stolen vast amounts of Dominion weapons and armor.
Good old Kerrigan. She's a little different now. These days she looks a little bit different as well. Of course she commands the Zerg.
Very soon.
It ain't over till it's over, you son of a bitch.
I actually forgot they swore. Didn't realize that.
Are my troops ready yet?
Your forces are prepared and awaiting your orders, Commander. Uploading tactical data now.
Good. About time we kick this revolution into overdrive.
Here we go. I'm excited for it. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Station is the center of Dominion logistics on Marsara. Destroying Dominion authority here will cripple Emperor Mengsk's operations throughout the planet.
It's funny how, even though this game came out in 2010, and I actually thought it looked really fresh back then, like looking at this overlay right now, and maybe I'm running on a higher resolution monitor than I did back in the day, but it does look a little bit dated already, right? That's probably the first sign of me getting old. I'm 25 years old right now, and I'm starting to recognize age in games that I absolutely thought looked brilliant when they first came out. But anyways, mission is called Liberation Day. We need to destroy the Dominion outpost, and of course, we have already selected the brutal difficulty. We have the following available technology. The Marine, the General Purpose Infantry Unit, and of course, Mr. Tychus Findley was also indeed, I guess, pushed into one of those Marine suits. Anyway, brutal difficulty has been selected. I think it is time to launch.
Adjutant, what do you got for me?
Dominion forces have set up a logistics headquarters in the town of Backwater Station. This has become the hub for all operations on Marsara. The Dominion recently pulled troops out of the city, and they are now under strength.
Are the locals cooperating?
The people of Backwater Station are known to be anti-Dominion, but they lack weapons and organization.
If I can take that headquarters away from Mengsk, it'll cripple him on this planet. Prep my ship.
All right, boys. Let's show the locals they don't need to fear the Dominion.
It's actually been some time since we've last seen Raynor in the campaign. I mean, we obviously had the entire storyline of the UED in Chapter 5 of StarCraft Remastered. Here we go!
Like a plan. Talk to me.
Oh, there's a dog.
Keep your intervals wide, your eyes open, and your asses covered. Let's move.
And of course, I am, by the way, playing on the hardest difficulty that the game has to offer, which does make it a little bit more tricky. I will likely have to micro my Marines. Right from the get-go. I'm sorry, civilian.
Sounds like a plan. Break it down.
I don't plan on necessarily, by the way, doing all of the achievements. I don't really care too much about achievements. I'm just one of those guys. But I do want to try and complete as many of the bonus objectives as long as they are actually relevant to the mission.
Count on me.
So I'm going to try and at the very least complete it to the best of my abilities. I have been microing Marines for many a years at this point though, so I should be okay. And at the very least keeping a bunch of these guys alive. If I accidentally complete a bunch of the achievements, obviously I'm definitely not against the idea of, you know, having them, but...
march on your neighbors. Descent will only slow
Oh
our
man,
progress.
Arcturus.
Commander, destroying the Dominion holoboards will help incite rebellion against the Dominion.
Alrighty. So obviously Emperor Mengsk,
Break it down.
we've kind of helped him get to power.
I'm getting mighty tired of seeing Meng's face. Blast it.
We've kind of helped him get to power because, you know, Kerrigan essentially decided not to chase him down when she was first forcing him away. She could have actually killed him very easily, but instead she just sort of
Where
allowed
is
this.
everyone? Time to man up. Sounds like a plan.
We do have to be a little bit careful though.
Break it down.
There's not a whole lot of wiggle room. Can I loot these?
You can count
I don't think so. Anyway, obviously at the beginning of this campaign it's gonna be pretty straightforward. We'll likely be able to cruise through this reasonably easily, but
Look ugly.
I actually don't really remember like 90% of the
Commander,
missions.
a large Dominion force is gathering in the center of town.
It's been a time. It's been some time.
Time to call in that special delivery we talked
Oh.
about.
For example, I did not recall this. I had no idea.
What's up?
Thanks for the assist.
No
We're
worries.
with you, Raynor. That's Raynor, most wanted man in the Dominion.
Sell me.
Work hard. Stand proud. We must all sacrifice for the glory of the Dominion.
That's some of the scariest propaganda that I've ever seen.
Time to man up. Break it
I mean, there are some countries on the planet that will probably still be having something along these lines.
Count on me.
But Mr. Mengsk is not necessarily the nicest guy.
Your freedoms must be protected.
Yeah, sure.
Raiders roll.
Some sort of
This is
communism
bad.
or communism going on over here.
Time to man up.
Either that or be a straight up fascism. I actually don't know exactly what the rule of Emperor Mengsk is
Count on
like,
me.
but
Finally, there's the locals.
You'll all be given a meal when you reach the dig site.
wow, so
My brother
generous.
went off to the mine last week. He disappeared.
Emperor Mengsk is really kind of a bad guy. Oh no. Oh no, buddy.
Civilians, move in.
Are you kidding me?
Sounds like a plan.
So I didn't even really realize that Emperor Mengsk was considered to be really bad.
What's the plan? What's up? Talk to me.
All right, think I've kept most of my guys alive.
Mengsk has a lot to pay for.
All right.
Thank you, Raynor. We knew you wouldn't forget us.
I would never forget you,
There's more
civilian.
people still being held up ahead.
I'll see to them. Sounds like a plan.
I'm a little worried.
Marshal Raynor.
I don't have that much stuff. Everyone's
Been a
really
while
low.
since we saw you around here.
We're with you, Raiders.
You can count on me. Raiders.
I gotta say though, like as in with every other Blizzard game, the music and the voice acting and whatnot is very good. I've been very spoiled. I mean, I've played a lot of games since this one came out as well, and the audio and just the sound design and the way that the game plays, this feels like a AAA title. This is what a AAA title, should look like in my opinion. And I've actually, over the last couple of years, not been terribly impressed with the new AAA games, but
This is a restricted area. You insurgents
Oh.
are under arrest.
all right,
Got your back, Raynor.
no worries.
Count on me. Time to man up.
Is that because I've destroyed all of the holo boards? Is that why the civilians are helping us out? May very well be the reason. Right now, all of these civilians are a little bit triggered. Some of my Marines have gone down as well, but so do the last of the Vikings. And apparently that means that we're gonna be able to start dealing the damage right here to the logistics headquarters. I like it.
I didn't think we could fight them, but we can.
Now you've got the weapons and the resources to do it. Remember, Mengsk can only control you if you let him.
Well said. And with that, we have indeed completed this mission. I wonder if this actually also shows whether or not I've, completed achievements in the past. May very well have been the case. Regardless though, we killed 29 of the Dominion Marines. We liberated the majority, at the very least, of these civilians. I didn't even realize that I needed to manually go ahead and do that. But I also did manage to complete the bonus objective. We're in Joey Ray's bar. Woo! That's awesome. It's been a while since I've seen that. Like, it's been like probably about 4 or 5 years. I don't even know if I've ever seen this cutscene, actually. Oh, is that Tychus? I've started to like enjoy storylines so much more than just simply cruising through a campaign. For some reason, that didn't seem obvious to me back in the day, but storylines are epic.
You know, for the most wanted man in the sector, you ain't that hard to find. I had to see it for myself. Little Jimmy Raynor, the people's hero.
Tychus Finley. Nice suit.
Pays to be prepared.
I heard they put you on ice. Life sentence. What? To give you time off for good behavior?
That's right, old buddy. I'm a model citizen now.
Oh.
So to what do I owe the pleasure?
Just a friendly business proposition. Do you even know what the Dominion are doing out here?
I'm guessing you're about to tell me.
Digging up alien artifacts, old buddy. Your boy Minsk has gone crazy for them. But I got a contact that'll pay top dollar for every artifact we liberate from the Dominion.
I guess I can hardly pass that up now. Can I, Tychus?
Partners then. 60-40.
70-30. My way. Feels like old times already.
Old times.
I'm really liking this. I'm getting like severe nostalgia right now, and I barely remember any of this, but... Ooh, here we are, we're in the bar. Apparently you have music as well. We can dance together. Hope you guys don't have your feet up on the table right now, because it's time to dance. Alright, let's watch the news. No way! Vermilion!
Vermilion, live from the UNN studios on Core Hall. We've got a breaking story for you. Let's go live to our own Kate Lockwell on the fringe world of Marsara. Kate?
Thanks, Donnie. Rebel Jim Raynor has reappeared in a big way. He's attacked a Dominion depot near Backwater Station, seizing weapons and distributing them to the local populace.
Kate, I bet the locals are pretty nervous about having a notorious outlaw in their neighborhood.
Ah, Donnie.
Actually, Donnie, the people I talked to seemed really encouraged by
Kate. You heard it here first. Jim Raynor, terrorizing the locals on Marsara. When we return, are your kids using stim packs?
Keep talking, pal. I'm just getting started.
Good old Donnie Vermilion. Oh, man. At the very least, we didn't have, you know, his colleague who's desperate for attention. Alright, well, should we go ahead and talk? Like, I guess we're gonna go ahead and interact with everything, right?
This looks recent. This you're doing, Jimmy?
Folks in these parts are ready to fight back against Minsk. Guess they just needed a little push.
You still take this whole revolution thing pretty serious, then?
Everyone needs a hobby, Tychus.
Nice. There's obviously the jukebox as well. Oh, I can change the music. White Boy James and the Blues Express, a Zerka shotgun and you. Incredible. Here's good old Kerrigan.
Sometimes I think it would have been better if you just died that day.
So, in case you forgot, or in case you may have misremembered, the reason why Jimmy is not necessarily very proud of Emperor Minsk is that before Emperor Minsk actually turned into an emperor, he was essentially trying to fight outlaws, and him and Jimmy were working together to try and help each other out. Now, one of the generals was indeed, or at the very least one of the high-ranking officers, was indeed Sarah Kerrigan. And Sarah Kerrigan, I guess she was more or less the girlfriend of Jim Raynor, although I don't think the game has been particularly clear on that. Anyway, in one of the missions, Emperor Minsk, or now the Emperor Minsk, at the time he wasn't, sent her down to the ground to clean up a bunch of Zerg. And while we managed to do so successfully, he actually decided to just simply retreat without actually picking up Kerrigan once again. Now, Kerrigan was presumed dead for a very long time. In before, though, a couple of missions later and quite a while later, she turned out to be a Sarah Brit under the Overmind. Eventually, of course, in StarCraft 1, we found out that she essentially had the Overmind destroyed, I guess. And she climbed up to become the Queen of Blades, the leader of the Zerg. Now, Jim, of course, still blames Emperor Mengsk for that, and that's, of course, what he's referencing right here as well. He's essentially talking about the fact that he would have rather seen her die rather than her getting infected by the Zerg.
Call me curious, but how'd you get out?
Well, I busted out of my cryo freezer while they were transporting me to New Folsom. Oh, I must have killed at least a dozen guards with my bare hands.
Quite muscular.
Yeah, I've heard this one before. But you left out the part where you walked on water. Made off with the warden's daughter.
Don't you get uppity with me, boy. I heard all about you becoming a big-time freedom fighter while I was away. What happened, Jimmy? The war for truth and justice get too much for you.
I ain't licked yet, Tychus.
What?
And I promise you, Mengsk
What did you just say?
Down, one way or another.
I've been speaking English for a long time. I ain't licked yet. That's a bit of an interesting expression right there to make. Interestingly enough, and now I think about it as well, back in 2010, I did speak English, but not you know, very fluently at all. I definitely wasn't feeling very confident in speaking English, and I can imagine that a lot of like the storyline just went way over my head. I mean, not only was I guess 7 years younger, or 8 years younger at this point, we also didn't really speak very good English back then, so I wonder how many other things I'm gonna pick up throughout this storyline that I just simply didn't realize. Anyway, let's have a look at the mission.
Thanks to your actions, Marsara is now in a state of open revolt against Arcturus Mengsk.
Whoopsie daisies.
Ex-convict Tychus Findlay has revealed the Dominion came to Marsara to excavate an alien artifact. Seizing the artifact will strike another blow against the Dominion and generate funds from selling it to Findlay's mysterious contacts.
So, who exactly is Tychus Findlay? I actually don't really know. So, I guess we'll have to play through and figure out what's going on. So, we need to seize the Xel'Naga artifact. So, during the bonus campaign mission of the Brood War expansion, we had Zeratul, one of the Dark Templar, go down to a planet that essentially saw a bunch of merging and whatnot happen between the Zerg and the Protoss. It's kind of interesting. We haven't really found answers to that yet. I wonder when we're going to be able to do so. But regardless, we need to seize the Xel'Naga artifact, another one of the another one of those beings that we don't really know very much about just yet. Apparently, this will give us 45,000 credit, which I believe we can use to go ahead and upgrade our units later on. But the new available technology is going to be the Medic, a support healer that heals nearby troops.
This old outpost don't look like anything special.
Keep your shirt on, son. Dominion engineers been digging out here for months. See that crane? They're getting ready to move the artifact they found off-world.
Well, I'll be damned.
See? You gotta have a little more faith, Jimmy.
All right. Time to give the Dominion a wake-up call. Let's smash that base and haul that baby out of there.
By the way, if the missions are very long, and I'm not going to be able to do very much throughout the mission, and I'm not going to be able to tell you very much about what is going on, and there's a little bit of downtime, I am most definitely not against
need a lot more Marines
editing out parts.
on the Dominion outpost. Train them up at the barracks. While we're at it, extra SCVs will help us harvest minerals faster. Train them up at the command center.
Alrighty. So, I think, yeah, whenever there's like boring parts, I'll just go ahead and edit those out so you don't have to be sitting through those. Like, for example, right now, I'm gonna have to start building up my base. I can already make medics, though. I like it. I like it.
Additional supply depots required.
Of course, I wasn't paying attention there. That's alright. Sadly, I'm not gonna be able to make mules just yet. No magical income for me that drops out of the sky. But apparently there are resource pickups. Ooh, okay, that's very helpful. Let's go ahead and construct another one then, just because we can. This is obviously the campaign. We don't need to play as strict as we do in the multiplayer. Oftentimes, actually, as a matter of fact, it's better to just simply hang out for a little bit and try and, you know, my career butts off. Also, there's no particular reason why we wouldn't try and pick up as many of these mineral notes as we can. I do want to get myself a bunch of medics, though. I don't know exactly how much we're going to need. But I think exploring the map is going to be pretty helpful for us already. I want to have about 2.5 or so SCVs per mineral patch. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8-ish. I want to have... It says 24 right here, but I think I want to have about 20 or so right there in total, at the very most. We'll just queue up a bunch of SCVs, because once again, it's the campaign. We can go ahead and do that. Obviously, by the way, in case you're new to the channel and you're just now catching up on what's going on, I've been playing StarCraft actively for, you know, pretty much 8 years right now. I've been playing this game a lot. I'm a big fan.
The Dominion is attacking the rebel base to the southwest.
Good. That'll keep the Dominion off our backs.
Those folks need our help, Tychus. There's no way we're leaving them to rot.
Whoa, they actually target fire down my weakened units first? It certainly looks like that. Don't know how smart the AI is in the campaign anymore. But I think it might be useful for us to go ahead and get some tech labs going. What about a ratio of... I don't know. I'm thinking like 3-to-1 or 3-to-2 Marines. And medics. So 2 medics at a time, 3 Marines. I don't know. Can I go ahead and get Stimpaks? I mean, Johnny Vermillion talked about this to us previously. Turns out it's not quite going to be an option just yet. Of course, if I want to make medics, by the way, I do need to get myself a gas as well. So that means a couple more SCVs. But we'll try and produce as much here as we can. Marines, of course, by the way, still even to this day, probably the strongest unit in all of StarCraft 2. Outside of maybe the Queen and whatnot, but there's certainly no value in denying, you know, the strength of a Marine. They are very good throughout the entire mission, and throughout pretty much every single moment. You're never really bad, or like you're never really worse off making Marines. They just require a lot of micro. One of the things that I found very quickly in StarCraft 1, for example, is that while making Marines, I was not really capable of controlling them very well, because you can only hotkey about 12 units at once in StarCraft 1. Obviously in StarCraft 2, it plays a little bit differently. Not only do we have an all-army hotkey, which, you know, makes things significantly easier, but also we have a lot of units in general that we can just simply maneuver around the map and quickly re-hotkey if we need to. Anyway, I think having probably about 5 or so medics right here before we properly move out is going to be very good. We don't necessarily need to have a very strict amount, by the way. I think this will do, though. This should be enough income. Let's go ahead and get another depot going. As far as my hotkeying goes, I think I'll take a similar approach throughout the entire campaign. And by the way, for now, I'm primarily focusing on Wings of Liberty. I may actually... Alright, interesting. I may actually end up playing Heart of the Swarm and Legacy of the Void as well. We'll see how that goes. But we should be in for a treat here. Anyway, as far as my hotkeying goes, usually I'm going to be using 1, 2, and 3 for my unit producing structures. And with Terran, I do like to add 3 as well for my... or rather, 1, 2, and 3 for my army. And then hotkey 3 and 4 usually for my structures and whatnot that I need to produce out of. Oftentimes, though, in the later stages, once I do need a 3rd hotkey group, you will see me replacing my 3rd hotkey with army units instead, and then I switch over towards other units as well. Or other hotkeys for my unit producing structures. Anyway. Woo! Look at that! That's like a sparkly Hellion!
Our welcome sight. We're with you. Just tell us where you want us.
Welcome aboard, boys.
Rainer's the man.
Yeah!
Dominion can go to hell.
Whoa, 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 whoa!
Raiders, boys.
Lowko, don't kill your stuff like that. Oh, Marines are so good. So this is one of those missions I don't really recall very well. One thing, though, that I do recall, if I'm not mistaken, there's gonna be siege tanks in this base. And if there's one thing that, you know, non-stimped Marines are not particularly great at, it's dealing with stimped... or dealing with siege tanks, rather. Anyway, we rescued the rebels. I don't see how we couldn't have done that. Gotta say, though, this is the fanciest looking Hellion that I've ever seen. Look at that thing. In a time of need, even the man from the petrol station, though, is still going to town. Making sure that it looks as pretty as possible. I don't really want to safe scum my way through the victory either, by the way. Obviously, that means that I'm gonna save like 100 times before I'm really gonna do anything. I don't think there's particular value in that. But before big engagements, you will see me save, just, you know, because it's the smart thing to do.
Warning. Dominion aliens approaching. Not enough.
If you get enough Marines, though, you can just kill things. Now, I don't know if there's gonna be a siege tank. I think if I recall correctly, there's likely going to be at least one. But stutter step is pretty helpful. It allows your Marines to move to the front.
Cleaning out that bunker, Jimmy. Between your boys and my skills, we are gonna go a long way together.
Now, I do want to go and save every once in a while. The Outlaws. Here we go. Save successful. Just because I'm going to be pushing into a base right here that's probably pretty well defended. Okay. Let's try and split up our units. Yep. Oh man, we got so many units already. I remember struggling with this mission back in the day, but I guess we made some progress as far as skill level goes. And here, by the way, is that crane that we are trying to take that Xel'Naga artifact from. I guess we made a little bit of progress, though, in the ways that we've been approaching this game. Simply splitting up your units and preventing the splash damage from a siege tank from shredding through your army seems to be already more than enough. And here we go. That should be the last of the structures taken care of as well.
Crane controls accessed. Decrypting security overrides. Crane control established.
Beautiful. Now let's reel that sucker in and get out of here.
Wonderful. We got ourselves a Xel'Naga artifact. I hope you enjoyed watching this very first episode. In case you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, or maybe you haven't already. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so you get a notification as soon as future videos go live as well. I'm currently planning on uploading these videos anywhere between like 2 to 3, maybe 4 days. Kind of depending on how things work out and what other videos I want to go ahead and produce. But of course, besides uploading this series, I'll also be uploading many other videos too. So if you're enjoying this one, do make sure you sub so you get notifications about all future content. Other than that though, I want to give you a massive shout out for tuning in today. Thank you very much for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, alright? And of course, a special shout out as well to the Patreon supporters for supporting me directly. You guys are awesome. But I will see you all in the next one.